Yep, you can see they're focused. They haven't had to have the riot act read to them this time that we saw this morning, being told to keep themselves calm. And on this 23-kart grid, we've got Dean McDonald starting on pole position. He's had a fabulous weekend so far. Alongside him is Alan Dillon Thompson. He's going to hope for a better second race, where he was taken out, I think from memory, it was on the first lap. And he's going to hope to get a lot further than that one. Finn Keneally and Oliver York on row 2. Luke Ibanez and Adam Ateki on row 3. Adam Ateki started really well in that first one, and then I think he had a bit of an issue, so hopefully they've been able to resolve that and he can continue the strength that he showed in the early part of the previous race. Row 4 is Zach Falk and Mark Kimber. 5th row is Tom Gamble and Cian Dewis. He was one that I tipped in that first race, and he certainly managed to do it, coming through from a long way back, and he's going to have to do it again. On row 6 we've got Janis Slavinsky and Matus Pilka. Row 7, Ollie Caldwell and Rens van Pelt, who also had a great first race. Tamor Comanchachi and Ricardo de Pasia on row 8. Row 9 sees Kenzo Ertz and Jordan Brown Nutley. On the 10th row we've got Lowry Lepper, Lucas Donaire. 11th is Louis Henkenfend, Ido Cohen, who also came up through the grid in the previous race. And all alone on the 12th is Dimitrios Tsimpris, who's recovering from a DNS, did not start in the qualifying session, but everybody's getting themselves warmed up. A car that seemed to have a bit of an issue on that out process there was number 17, Jordan Brown Nutley, due to start 18th. He's not going to now, Matt. He's going to be having to start from the back.
Yep, so big shame there for Jordan Brown Nutley. So he's got work to do as he tries to work his way through. He's had a little bit of an excursion. He should be able to take his place on the grid, though, if he can get there quick enough. The car's just heading their way down towards the hairpin at turn number 9, being slowed right down now with Dean McDonald on the front row of the grid on pole position. And you can just see in the background there the very quick Jordan Brown Nutley trying to work his way as fast as ever. He will just about make it, I think, because they're going to slow right down now at turn number 10, and he'll just weave his way through and take up his starting position. Jordan Brown Nutley not that far towards the front anyway, so he's not going to really do himself that disjustice. There he goes round the outside, gets himself back into the position he was, and cart number 17 should be ready to go on row number 9. But Dean McDonald, can he pick up his second heat victory of the day? He's in the best possible position as this 8-lap junior race is set to get underway through the final corner, through the grid hatchings. The race now gets going with the red lights going out, and down towards turn 1, a bit of bumping and barging straight away there. Alan Dillon Thompson tried to get straight onto Dean McDonald into the corner. I think he's lost out again there, and Alan Dillon Thompson, there's 3 off down at turn 1, so a real drama pack there, but it is Dean McDonald that leads the way out front. Finn Keneally's there in second, and Luke Ibanez sets in third place, so all of those from the inside row, first, second and third row, are all now in the top 3 places. There's a bit of damage here for one of the carts coming through, which is 48. That's Rens van Pelt, so he's had dramas at turn 1, and there's 2 more involved as well, which are now just trying to get regoing. And I wouldn't bet against that Alan Dillon Thompson has had another poor start. There's 1 off down there at turn 9.
2 off down there, and I wonder, one of them struggling to get going. The other one's just still creeping around the outside, heading down towards turn 10. As they come through to complete the first lap, the front 2 are absolutely joined together, and that is Dean McDonald just holding off Finn Keneally, but Finn Keneally is almost pushing him across the line there. He's desperate to get through. They may be teammates, but there's no love lost. They're desperate to make a move. Bit of a gap back then to number 32, which is Luke Ibanez. Adam Ateki, we saw him, as I say, in that first race do very well, but seemed to have an issue with his cart. Well, he's up in 4th position now. I think we've got a couple of frustrated drivers out there. There are, what are we looking at? I think there's 2 carts that have retired from that, and we'll be able to check out who they are very shortly. Yeah,
one of them is number 56 by the looks of it, which is just being walked away from the scene of the incident now. So that sits down there at turn 9. And Alan Dillon Thompson has had another poor start. His kart sounds awful coming across the line. So some dramas for him at turn 1. Drops him from the front row once more. So not the best of starts to Saturday. Get worse and worse now. At least in this one, he should be able to finish as the top 2 head down towards the first corner. And what we got going on here, Dean McDonald and Finn Keneally, your top 2. The 2 teammates here in this one at the minute. They work their way through turns 2 and 3. And the man now in third place on the back of them is Luke Ibanez. So watch out for Luke, just 0.3 of a second back from the leader, and the man on the tail of that is Adam Ateki. So again, a fairly good start from Adam from 6th on the grid. He works his way now onto the rear of the top 3. There's a back marker in the way in towards the hairpin at turn 7, so that should just about stay aside as Adam Ateki gets bulked slightly there in the melee of all of that. But there's 6 laps to go. They very quickly count down here, with the top 3 giving us a great fight so far. Dean McDonald managing to hold on ahead of his teammate Finn Keneally.
Right, it looks like the two that are out is 58 Giannis Slavinsky and 54 Tom Gamble, unfortunately lost out. Ricardo Di Pozio's recovered but is right at the back, as is Rons van Pelt. But yeah, Adam Mateki's done a great job getting through there. And so far, Dean McDonald is having a slightly different race this time. He was able to dominate the opening race, but his teammate Finn Keneally is absolutely glued to the back of him. And I think they're holding each other up enough that means that Luke Ibanez is basically right up with them. Is 4th position Adam Ateki going to be able to do anything about that? We'll have to wait and see. And a little bit further back, a report that Ido Cohen, car 35, we saw him come up through the grid very well in the first race. Well, from 22nd, he's already up into 13th position. Yeah,
and Finn Keneally still looking very strong in 2nd place, heading down towards the hairpin at turn 10. And as you said, Dean McDonald, not like the first race. This one is much, much tougher, so he's really up against it here. And Finn Keneally is putting all the pressure on for the time being. Luke Ibanez, definitely one to watch as well, as the top 3 head across the line, down towards turn number 1. Can the move now be made by Finn? Not quite there as they head their way over the bump, head towards turn 2. He's pushing him along here. There's no let up whatsoever for Dean McDonald. He's looking over his shoulder. He's hearing the sound of Finn Keneally and his kart in behind him, and that was a much better sequence of corners as well. Through turns 4 and 5, Finn Keneally really got the run. He's trying to pick up the toe in towards the right-hander at turn 6, but again, he's not quite close enough to make a lunge. He won't try anything too stupid. Of course, it's his teammate in front of him, so he's going to be wary for the time being, leave it towards the end, and then maybe he'll go for a move. He looks towards the hairpin again. He's got to be wary about Dean McDonald, but also watch behind, because Luke Ibanez will not hesitate to go through if he gets the chance.
Well, and even more impressive than that, we saw this one starting to take shape. This is about to become a 4-car train any second now, because 4th position, Adam Ateki, is right there. He's got his head tucked down behind the steering wheel as he comes straight past us with the 3 laps remaining. He's desperate to get on the back of these 3 teammates. I would imagine that they've been largely read the Rotax, because they are being very well behaved at the front there, aren't they? There's no excessive risk being taken there. They are being joined together, but they're not suddenly making any last-minute lunges down the inside. So it is still Dean McDonald, Finn Keneally, Luke Ibanez, that after 5 laps are your top 3. Adam Ateki coming to join the party, and Zach Falk, Oliver York round out the top 6.
Yeah, and those two are together as well for 5th and 6th places. So Zach Falk and Ollie York together. Just being joined slightly now by Mark Kimbrough as well. So watch out for him in 7th place. But this is your quad up front. Top 4 all together now, about to start another lap with 2 to go at the line. But Dean McDonald, he needs to hold on as best as possible. Past the back marker of Kian Dewis they go. So Kian is having a terrible race. 18th place. Unlike the first one when he worked his way through up into the top 10 places, this one will be one to forget for him as well. But the top 3, top 4 on their way. They work their way through the left and right flick. Onto the back straight they go for what's going to be now the 7th time of asking. And still, Dean McDonald leads the way, but just by 1/10 of a second. With on his tail still, Finn Keneally. 3rd place is going to be that of Luke Ibanez. And 4th place right with them now. No let up for Adam Ateki. He could be a big man to make a move right towards the end. Wait for the lunge. I'm sure it's going to come soon.
I think you're right, because there's none of this team Rotax that's been read for Adam. He doesn't care about team's orders. He's going to get stuck right in, and he's got to be aware that some of the other karts are rapidly approaching him. Car just behind is still number 20, the lapped car of Kian Dewis, as they start their final lap. He's going to be devastated. I think he was one of the ones caught up in the incident at the exit of turn 9, the first of the 2 hairpins. And that's put him right down, and he's going to have to turn that around later. But the top 4 are, as we expected, joined together. Left of 4, right of 5, onto the back straight. I think they all got their run through that complex well enough that no one's going to be able to dive up the inside. But that means that really the last opportunity is one of these hairpins. None of them were close enough for the restaurant corner, as Ed Brand calls it, turn number 7. So what about 9, 10? Oh, and I'm trying to go around the outside was Adam Ateki there, but wasn't quite on. Is that going to put him up the inside of the next corner? No, it isn't, but they're still side by side as they're bringing it home towards us.
Yep, it's going to be Dean McDonald for the 2nd time today to pick up the victory ahead of his teammate Finn Keneally, who come through nose to tail for 3rd place. It's going to be not so close as it was for 4th in the end, because Luke Jimenez crosses the line in third, and then the man catching towards the end was Zach Falk. He really got himself onto the back of Adam Ateki, who tried to attack, of course, on that last lap. In doing so, he fell straight into the clutches of Zach Falk, who in the end was only 46 thousandths of a second adrift in that place. So what a drive there from all of those front runners. But Dean McDonald, our winner for the second time today, he wins from his teammate by 700ths of a second. Finn Keneally during the lunch break in the cafe having his ice creams, so whatever that did really gave him some speed during the race as well. So great stuff from the youngsters. Another great race from juniors. So just a quick confirmation of the running order. There's one of the drivers, that's Dadinas Slavinsky, making his way back to the kart, and Dadinas will not be too happy with what happened on the opening laps of that one. He looks at the kart very despondently, and he'll have to try and recover that for his final heat of the day later on this afternoon. But it's Dean McDonald who picks up his second to Finn Keneally, third place for Luke Ibanez, fourth place then was Adam Ateki. Zach Falk comes home in fifth place. Mark Kimber, a fairly good result for sixth for Dan Holland Racing. Ollie York, Larry Lepper for VRT, and then Ollie Caldwell, Kenzo Arts, Tamer Kimansachi, and Lucas Dunner are your top 12 for the Speed World Academy team. Further back, we saw Louis Henkefend. Not a bad result for him. Could have been slightly better, but he's worked his way from the back once again in this second heat. Ida Cohen, Matisse Pilka in 15th place. Demetrius Zimpras, Alan Delen Thompson, one of those who suffered at the start for the second time today. It's really not going his way. Keaton Jewis, another one with a poor result, and Jordan Brown-Nutley, a non-finisher, along with Renz Van Pelt, Tom Gamble, and Zina Slavinsky, means that we had in that race around about 5 or 6 that didn't complete to take the checker flag. But that is race 7 of the day done, and our third heat for the juniors, with the next one just around the corner.